Welcome to SSU Live. My name is Abraham DeWeese. This is Seattle Sports Union, and this is the best in local coverage of Seattle sports. We have a great show for you tonight. It's me, Abraham DeWeese, the editor-in-chief of Seattle Sports Union, and with me is Bob Lucky, my technical director. How's it going, Bob?
It's going well, Abraham. Good week for Seattle sports, hasn't it?
It's been an incredible week for Seattle sports. The Mariners are on a roll, Sounders are on a roll, and the Seahawks rookie minicamp just started. Want to tell everybody out there, this is being broadcast live on YouTube. It's also being broadcast live on Periscope. For all of you out there on Periscope, hi, how's it going, guys? All of you out here on YouTube, how's it going, guys? Aren't you excited? Aren't you excited for all the teams right now? All right, I know. Let's not talk about basketball. Let's not talk about the Seattle City Council. We're done with that. We're not going to talk about it. Let's go to football. All right, guys. So rookie minicamp has just started, and I am very excited. I am super stoked for the backup quarterback situation. You guys know about the backup quarterback situation, right? We're talking about Trevone Boykin, and we're talking about Vernon Adams Jr. These guys are amazing. They're exciting. They're kind of like mini Russell Wilsons. Well, if Russell Wilson weren't already mini in the first place. These guys are undrafted free agents. Everybody has told these guys, no, you're not good enough. It's similar to the Russell Wilson situation where everybody told Russell Wilson, you're too short, you're too untalented, you don't throw right, you don't look right, blah. Who cares? Russell Wilson, all he did, go to several Pro Bowls and won, a little trophy some call the Super Bowl. So, winning is its own reward. The best way to get revenge on people, Russell Wilson has shown it, is to live a good life. And that's what he's done. He's won a Super Bowl. So all of you out there who hate short quarterbacks, Russell Wilson just owned you. All right, guys. You may not know much about Trevone Boykin, and you may not know much about Vernon Adams Jr. I want to tell you, I watch a lot of college football. I like both of these guys. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, they didn't get drafted, Abraham. They didn't get drafted. Why didn't they get drafted? Well, I'll tell you why they didn't get drafted. They're too short. Both of them are too short. That's what they said about Russell Wilson, that he's too short as well. But I'll tell you what, these guys, Trevone Boykin, Vernon Adams Jr., all they did was win. And they won a lot. They won a tremendous deal, a great deal of games. Trevone Boykin, now this guy's 6 foot, 212 pounds. That's actually a very good sized man. But in in professional football, you want a quarterback to be what, 6'5", maybe 230. Okay, fine. He doesn't do that. But let me tell you this. He was a Heisman Trophy runner-up, consensus All-American pick. He was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, finalist for the Davey O'Brien Award, Johnny Unitas Award, the Walter Camp Player of the Year Award. This guy has been on everybody's radar. But I'll tell you what, guys. People still think he's a one-trick pony and a running quarterback. He's not. This guy can also pass. He gets a lot of crap, but when you look at his stat line, you're talking about every year from freshman year to senior year, his completion percentage goes from 57%, 59%, 61%, and then 64.9%. You're talking about NFL numbers. You're also talking about a guy who does not throw interceptions. Every year, it was 10 interceptions, 15 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And then you get to a senior year, it's 31 touchdowns to 10 interceptions with only 1 sack. What does that tell you, guys? What does that tell you? Trevone Boykin makes good decisions, and he's elusive. He can get out of the pocket, and he can make plays. I really like Trevone Boykin. Another thing about him is that he has decided if the Seahawks want to use him as a wide receiver or kick returner, he is more than willing to do that. What does that sound like? That sounds like when BJ Daniels, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. I mean, that could be a good thing. Maybe a third string quarterback, an emergency quarterback, but you can also put him in on special teams. That sounds really cool to me. I look at him. Let's throw that aside. You know what I look at him and I see is a Seneca Wallace. You guys remember Seneca Wallace? Yeah, that guy was a great backup quarterback. Now, make no bones about it, he's not going to take a team to the Super Bowl. Then again, neither was Tavares Jackson. These guys were not going to take the Seahawks to the Super Bowl, but they could fill in and win a few games when needed, and that's what I think Trayvon Boykin is, and that's what I think he can do. I want to look at another guy, Vernon Adams Jr. Vernon Adams Jr., everybody's told this guy, you're too small, right? You don't look right, you don't act right. Again, that whole Russell Wilson thing. Well, news for you guys, he's actually 1 inch taller than Russell Wilson. So maybe all the pundits can shut up and just actually watch this kid play. Vernon Adams Jr. came from Los Angeles, and nobody in the Pac-12 wanted him. Nobody in the Big 12 wanted him. Nobody in the Big 10 wanted him. Nobody in the Mountain West wanted him. Nobody in this conference, that conference. Nobody wanted him. So what does he do? He goes to Eastern Washington University in the thriving metropolis of Cheney, Washington. And here's what he does. He beats the number 25 ranked Oregon State Beavers in his second year. This is a Division II team. They go into Reser Stadium. They take out the Oregon State team, all based on his feet and his arm and his savvy and intellect. Guys, look at these stats here. In this first year, completion percentage, 60.9%, 65.6%, 66.1%, and then 64.9%. That was with Oregon, by the way, in a run-dominated offense. Those are really, really good numbers. Would you like to see his touchdown to interception ratio? Vernon Adams Jr., first year, rookie year, or freshman year, my apologies. 20 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Second year, 55 touchdowns. 55 touchdowns. Guys, that's in like 14 games. 55 touchdowns to only 15 interceptions. 35 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. And then at Oregon, again, a running offense. This is a run-first offense. 26 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. This kid did great. This kid did great. This is a kid that went to Eastern, lit up the scoreboards, scored 7 touchdowns against the University of Washington. I was there for that game. This guy was unstoppable. University of Washington had 4 guys, 3 of whom were drafted in the first round on that defense, and 1 of whom was drafted in the second round of the NFL draft. What did Vernon Adams do? What did he do? Oh, I don't know. Score 7 touchdowns. That's what he did. That's against future NFL players. That's what he can do. He went to Oregon. Okay, he only played 10 games with Oregon. He got injured. He had a hand injury. Again, talking about 65% completion ratio, a great touchdown interception ratio, threw for 2,600 yards, ran for many more, and played in an offense that's nothing like what he played at Eastern. He learned how to get that offense down immediately, and he learned how to be the leader. I don't know if he learned that. I think he just may have that. That's, to be honest, he probably just is a leader, and that's why he succeeds at every level. Went into Oregon, dominated all the teams that he played up against. He almost beat Michigan State, who turned out to be an incredibly good team. Connor Cook was on that team. He got injured, and when he got injured, we saw what happened to Oregon. When he got injured, Oregon got run over by Utah. They got decimated by Utah. When he got injured in the Alamo Bowl, by the way, he was supposed to play against Trayvon Boykins in that Alamo Bowl. Didn't happen. That would have been neat to see. That would have been really cool. But he played the first half in the Alamo Bowl, the Valero Alamo Bowl You know what? Screw that. Screw you, Valero. I don't even know what a Valero is. It's the Alamo Bowl. All right. So Oregon's in the Alamo Bowl. Vernon Adams plays in it. Trayvon Boykin didn't get to play in the game, and I'll tell you in a minute. Why he didn't play in that game. Vernon Adams ran up 35 points. 35 against TCU, a team loaded full of, again, NFL level players. 35 points. He got injured. What happened? Oregon fell apart. They fell apart without his leadership. They fell apart without his talent. He carried that team to where they were last year. He definitely was a great substitution for Marcus Mariota after he left. And Oregon, I hate Oregon. I don't like them. I don't like the state. I like pumping my own gas. But I got to give it to Oregon. They were smart enough to go get Vernon Adams Jr. out of Eastern Washington for his final year to play at Oregon and make another great run at the Pac-12 title. All the pundits don't want Trayvon Boykin. And there's one important thing to bring up. The night before the Alamo Bowl, Trayvon Boykin got into a bar fight with somebody. And then the bar fight spilled out into the streets, and then Boykin punched a cop. And he was suspended, rightfully so, missed the Alamo Bowl. Everybody on his team, coaches, players, whatnot, stood up for him and said, that's not him. But it makes you wonder a little bit, is this just a 22-year-old who isn't mature? Is this a famous player that got, pushed into a fight at a bar? I don't know. It's a bigger global question. Why do athletes do this crap? But I don't know. I think you can overlook one indiscretion if all the other, if the entire book of his work is taken into account. If he hasn't gotten in trouble before, which he hasn't, then maybe you overlook this one indiscretion. Well, Vernon Adams hasn't gotten any trouble, and so we're looking at a great kid here, and it's going to be exciting. The rookie minicamp is taking place this weekend at Renton. I'm sorry, Bob, did I pronounce Renton right? It is Renton, not Renton.
Yeah, that's correct. Emphasis on the R, Renton.
Renton. All right. Thank you, Bob. So, yeah, that's a big deal. If you live in the Seattle area, you better get the name Renton right. I grew up here. Bob grew up here. We know how to say it. But I don't particularly care for the town. I mean, the traffic is worse there than anywhere else. There's a lot of airplanes for some reason. Why do they have a lot of airplanes? I don't know. What's the deal with Renton and all their airplanes? It's the Boeing field. Bob, it's the Boeing field. That's why.
Before we get into a full Seinfeld rant,
get back to the Seahawks here.
Twitter does have a question for you.
Oh, Twitter has a question.
That's something I think you may have followed, but just touch base on it. Will Vernon Adams make the main roster this year?
That's a very interesting question. It's a very good question. From?
That was from DJ Seattle's Finest.
DJ Seattle's Finest, very good question. Okay. I went to Eastern Washington University. I want him to make the team. I really, really want him to make the team. There's nothing I want more. There's a couple things I want more. Scarlett Johansson, 1. Evangeline Lilly, 2. Evangeline Lilly and Scarlett Johansson. Anyway, I'm digressing, aren't I? The one thing I really want is Vernon Adams to make this team, and I think he can do it. I really do. I'm not like, I am a mark. I do like him, and I'm an Eastern guy. I think he's going to make it, and I'm willing to say right now, here on camera, here on YouTube, leave comments below. You can tell me I'm wrong, but he is not what they call a CFL guy. He is not what they call a workout warrior. He is NFL caliber. He's going to make the team. He's going to be your number 2 quarterback. All right, thank you for the question, DJ. We're going to move on to Bob. Was that too much? Was that too much? Am I getting hate mail over the Evangeline Lilly? And I just want a Wasp and Black Widow movie. Is that too much to ask?
Yes.
Okay. I want to get on to the offensive line for a minute here. Shocking news from Renton. Justin Britt, the former right guard, is being moved to center. That's right. He's going to be a center. Do you believe that, guys? I don't get it. I got some numbers here for you. And this is going to sound really scary. And I don't want to scare you all, but I'm scared. So why don't I just proclaim this on the internet? Seahawks had the 3rd worst offensive line in the NFL last year. I don't need to tell you that, but I'm going to cite Pro Football Focus. They have their little statistical numbers, and they called it the 3rd worst offensive line. The 2 highest graded offensive linemen off of the Seahawks were Russell Okung. He had a score of 72. 72 is about average for the NFL. And J.R. Sweezy, 46. So 46, 70. Okay, so what they're saying is Sweezy, getting rid of him, no big deal. Getting rid of Okung, it's starting to look like a big deal. I understand his injury history. Don't start with me about the injury history. I know about the injury history. The Okung thing makes me angry. We could have signed him. I get that. We're going to move Gilliam. We're going to move Terry Gilliam from right tackle to left tackle. Would you like to hear what his Pro Football Focus score was? Again, 70 is kind of like at the lower end of what you want for a left tackle. I mean, that's 72 is Russell Okung. Here is Terry Gilliam, your new left tackle for the Seattle Seahawks. 72. And Russell Okung, you want up here. You want like 90. You want maybe like 95. 72. Terry Gilliam, the former right tackle, former tight end, by the way, was another one of Tom Cable's strange little ideas where he can just invent offensive linemen. I got a great article on Seattle Sports Union about Tom Cable. Please go to seattlesportsunion.com, look him up. Terry Gilliam has a score of 36.7, Bob. 36.7. Can you tell me how much worse 36.7 is than 72?
He does know he wants a higher number, right?
Yes, you want a higher number.
Did somebody tell him?
Nobody told him. Well, that's not the worst news. That's not the worst news. That's a bad news. Here comes some more bad news. Justin Britt, at left guard last year, scored a 37.4. That's going to be your new center. That's going to be the center for your Seattle Seahawks. Scored a 37.4 on Pro Football Focus's best offensive lineman. That's bad. That's really bad. 37.4 is down here. You want up here. Russell Okung was kind of there. 37.4. Well, I mean, that's kind of down here, down on the ground. That's bad. So you're going to have a left tackle with 36. You're going to have Justin Britt at center, a position he's never played. Well, there's a bright idea. That worked well with Drew Nowak. Not. Patrick Lewis last year had a 50. Much better than Drew Nowak, but they're going to replace him with Justin Britt. They're going to replace Patrick Lewis with Justin Britt because they don't want to be wrong about a second-round draft pick. That's what I feel here. I feel like they're trying not to be wrong. Good news is there's a new kid. His name is Glowinski. I like this guy. Only played 2 games. The Pro Football Focus numbers are not very good on him, but that's only based off of a limited amount of time, and I think he's going to do well. You're going to look at him at left guard. Oh, guys. So they drafted, you guys know about Ifedi. You all know about Ifedi, first-round draft pick, 31st pick from Texas A&M. They're going to put him at right guard, even though he's never played right guard. I don't understand. Tom Cable, what are you doing, man? You're putting Terry Gilliam, former tight end, at left tackle. You're putting Glowinski at left guard, which I'm okay with. But then you're putting Britt, who's never played center, at center? Again, you already got Gilliam, never played left tackle. And then you're going to have Effetti, a rookie, playing right guard. This doesn't make any sense. Well, the good news is they did bring in Jamarcus Webb. Jamarcus Webb is an average player, and his score kind of reflects that. He's in the 50s. He's going to play right tackle, but let's face it, right tackle is a throwaway position because it's usually capped by a tight end. As excited as I am about the free agent quarterbacks, I am completely despondent about this offensive line. Again, third worst offensive line, and they got rid of their best 2 players last year. This is going to be a mess. All right, guys. Well, from that mess, we're going to go to the Mariners. We're going to take a quick break. And we're going to come back and talk a little bit about the Mariners. But rookie minicamp has started for the Seahawks. I'm stoked. I'm excited. I know you guys are too. Come back and we'll talk about this 4-game series with the Astros. Be right back in a minute. Welcome to SSU Live. My name is Abraham DeWeese. With me is my technical director, Bob Lucky. We are talking Seattle sports. This is the Seattle Sports Union. You're live right now here on YouTube. Comment below and like us. I would like to know what you guys are thinking out there. We're also simul-broadcasting on Periscope. That's right, every 8 o'clock on Sunday nights after Game of Thrones. Check us out here. That's Periscope. That address is what again, Bob? At Seattle Sports U?
Seattle Sports U. And our
At
Periscope
Seattle
viewers
Sports
are
U.
actually quite concerned about you, Abraham.
How are they concerned about me?
Well, they seem to be concerned that you're setting a bad example for the children by drinking beer.
Oh, but this is locally crafted Fremont Pale, or Fremont Universal Pale. They are not paying me to say this, but it is delicious. All right, but we're not here to hawk things that we can't make money off of. Let's go ahead and hawk our product.
But we will take free samples.
We'll take free samples from anybody. We'll take free anything from anybody. All right, guys. So we are Seattle Sports Union. Go check out seattlesportsunion.com, where we write great articles about the Seahawks, the Mariners, the Sounders. Obviously not basketball. Not going to do basketball. Don't do hockey either. But we'll do hockey when we get a hockey team. Okay, guys? We're on it. We're getting there. We're getting there. I want to talk a little bit about the Seattle Mariners. Have you guys noticed where the hell they are right now? First place in the American League West. First place in the American League West. I'm going to say this one more time. First place in the American League West. And I'm saying this often, and I'm saying it loud because, darn it, I haven't gotten to say that in 15 years. Has it been 15 years? Where did my life go? It was 15 years ago, Bob Lucky. It was 15 years ago, Bob Lucky, since we saw Ichiro and, Freddie Garcia and all those guys win us 116 games. Isn't that crazy?
It is a little bit nuts, but the Mariners are good at punking us like this. It's only the first part of the season.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't get my expectations up. Maybe I should be that guy for Major League. You know that guy for Major League that's like, oh, but they're still gonna suck. Even though they're winning game after game, even though Charlie Sheen Wild Thing is out there pitching, that there's still that kind of, they're never gonna be any good. Think about this, guys.
To be fair, the team at the end of Major League still sucked. They lack chemistry. They got a win on a fluke. Well, actually, that might be the Mariners.
That could be the Mariners too. They could be a fluke as well. But let's look at this. They're 18-13. That's a .581 winning percentage. I realize at home, a little bit shaky to start the season off, but the Mariners really turned it around. They have won 6 series in a row before this last series with the Astros. This last series with the Astros, they split. And remember this, a split is as good as a win in baseball. Okay? A split is as good as a win, especially when it's away. They took 2 of 4 from the Astros. Astros are loaded with talent. You're talking about Jose Altuve, Carrera. You're talking about McHugh and Dallas Keuchel. You're talking about a team that has all-stars pretty much everywhere in their lineup. Gomez. You got AJ Finch as their coach, manager. They haven't met expectations, but you know what? In sports, you got to kick a team while they're down. Okay. So if this team is down right now, and I'm telling you what, they're going to come back. Astros are going to come back. So you got to kick them while they're down now. We took a series. We took 2 or 3 of them here in Seattle, and we just took 2 out of 4 here, down there in Houston. That's what you got to do. You have to do that. You can't just fumble away these games. You got to win now, and that's what people don't seem to understand. You have to win these games when they're winnable. What have we done? What have we done in the last 15 years? We boot games in April, and then we make like a charge. We charge back in August. Well, big freaking deal. That doesn't work, okay? Win the games early, and then keep winning them later. Don't make excuses. That's another thing, too. We make a lot of effing excuses. There's no excuses. It's 162 games in a season. There's no excuses. The better team wins. That's the way it works. Baseball is very, very, what's the word for it, Bob? Not utilitarian, but egalitarian. They're very egalitarian that way. Thanks, Bob, for the word.
You are correct, sir.
Mariners come out of a 4-game series with the Astros where we saw Jose Altuve. Have you guys seen a better player than Jose Altuve like in the last 10 years? I don't know what this guy's doing. Kid hits 7. He gets 7 hits out of 13 or 14 at bats. So he's like batting like 500. Gets like 2 walks, 3 stolen bases, hitting left, hitting right, hitting over fence, doing everything. This kid's insane. And he plays solid defense as well. But guess what? We got a second baseman as well. We do have a second baseman. His name is Robinson Cano. You might have heard of him. Robinson Cano. What did Robinson Cano do? He got 8 hits. Not to be outdone, he got 8 hits in this 4-game series. He had, 3 home runs? The guy's insane. He's just knocking them over the fence. Won that game for us on Saturday. That was a crazy game. I hope you guys saw I hope you guys saw the 3-2 win on Saturday. if you like emotional roller coasters and extra inning games and just, wanting to pull your hair out one moment and then wanting to jump up and down and grab a beer and toast our success, that's what happened. 10 innings. Steve Cishek, our new closer, kind of let us down. Gave up a home run and let the Astros tie the game. But what happened? Robinson Cano comes up in the 10th. Boom. Zoom. Over the fence. Gets us the go-ahead run. It was amazing. Oh, that game was crazy, guys. I don't know if you saw AJ Hinch, the manager of the Astros, get kicked out of that game. Did it make you laugh? It made me laugh. I was laughing. It was the most hilarious thing I ever saw. They were arguing balls and strikes. And what do they say? What do they say you cannot argue? Bob, what do they say you cannot argue in baseball?
Balls and strikes.
Correct. You cannot argue balls and strikes in baseball. And Bob, what would you guess the Astros manager did?
A Lou Piniella impression.
He did his best Lou Piniella impression and got kicked out of the stadium. Oh, that was hilarious. But you know what else was hilarious? When Carlos Gomez, he got kicked out as well. What sucked is he got kicked out during commercial break. And I was just so angry. I was so annoyed. They didn't even bother to they didn't show it on TV. Don't you like it? Don't you like watching a player get ejected? I mean, isn't that like a perverse thrill, Bob, to see a player get ejected, especially when it's like a visiting team or, some fan next to you roots for that team and you get to see his best player kicked out.
Oh, you gotta love it, especially when another coach or two comes out and just joins in and gets himself axed as well.
That's even better. That's even better. I love that. Well, guys, the Mariners went in. They totally killed it. I gave the we have what's called the SSU Man of the Series. So it's the award, for the best player of that series. And it was Robinson Cano. And again, I told you he clubbed 3 home runs, had he had 9 hits. I said 8. He had 9 hits in the 4-game series. Boy, oh boy, I keep writing the SSU Man of the Series, and pretty much every week it's Robinson Cano. Is he starting to earn that $24-25 million a year? I hope so. I wrote an article this year, and I stated, I wrote an article on SeattleSportsUnion.com about Robinson Cano and his rebranding. So take a look. Go to SeattleSportsUnion.com, type in Robinson Cano rebranded, and it has to do with some of the commercials that he's been in. And I said the only way that I'd be happy with a 33-year-old Robinson Cano making $25 million a year is if he does what Edgar Martinez did when Edgar Martinez was 33 years old. That's the only way I'll accept. That's the only way I'll accept him. That's the only way I'm going to accept that insane amount of money that he made.
So the only way you'll accept him is if he plays at the level of a Mariners legend.
Yes. For $25 million, which is it's a number that might as well be like a gajillion to me. I mean, that's a number I can't even wrap my head around. But yes, Bob, you're correct. If he plays like a legend, well, let me tell you guys, I'm pulling it up here. He is playing like a legend right now through 30 games. Through 30 games, he has 11 home runs. I mean, you're looking at a 40 home run season. 40 home runs from a second baseman. You're looking at 32 RBI. So that's over 100 RBI on the season. Well over at this pace, right? So if I were to tell you guys at the beginning of the season, boom, 40 home runs, 100 RBI, guaranteed, you'd be like, yeah, totally. And I'd be like, well, he's making 25 million. You'd be like, okay, why not? I mean, let's be fair. That's the way we all think. I mean, I realize batting average, not a lot of people like batting average. You got your sabermetrician nerds like Ian Loney, one of our baseball writers, like Matt Page, another one of our baseball writers and editor, baseball editor. You got these sabermetrician nerds who are like, batting average means nothing. Batting average means nothing. Batted 306. He's batting 306. He's batting 306. You win a title for batting over 300. You win the respect of your peers for batting over 300. So Saber nerds, go stay in your mom's basement and run the numbers. But 306 is a great batting average. On pace for 40 home runs and 100 RBI, well over 100 RBI. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Okay, so Bob, should I placate the nerds living in their basement with their mom? These Saber nerds like Matt Page and Ian Loney. Should I placate them? Should I give them their due?
Well, you might want to, considering we're broadcasting from a basement ourselves.
But it's not the basement of your mother. It's your basement.
It is true.
All right. Well, so all right. Let me placate all you little nerds out there with your sabermetrician numbers. By the way, you guys, St. Louis Cardinals. You know what they do with sabermetrics? You know what they do with sabermetrics? Yeah, they shove it over in the corner with all their other unused toys. Like their Cabbage Patch dolls and their hula hoops and stuff. The kids still use hula hoops, right? I think they do.
I think so.
They don't?
I think they do, and they still go to soda jerks and sock hops.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, now there's a statistic called WAR. WAR. Bob, do you know what WAR is?
No, but can you tell us what it's good for?
Absolutely nothing. That's right. But for you guys who like WAR, which is wins above replacement, right now, and we're only talking about 30 games in, Robinson Cano also already has a WAR of 2. 2's pretty good, only 30 games in. I mean, what you want is you want a WAR of like 7 or 8 throughout the year, but his WAR is 2, and that projects out to about like 8. So there you go, nerds. There's your little WAR stat. All right. We got to run a break here in a minute, but if you're out there, I just wanted to let you know we got great articles on SeattleSportsUnion.com. We also have a Twitter account. I'd like you guys to go out there, check us out on Twitter, because we also do these Periscope podcasts as simulcasts with our live YouTube. And that Periscope address is at Seattle Sports U. Go check us out, like us, we'll like you, and everybody will love each other. We also have a Facebook account. Please check us out on Facebook. That's Seattle Sports Union. Like us on Facebook. Check out our great updates and articles. Okay, we're going to run a break. We're going to come back, talk a little bit of Sounders, and then Bob and I are going to play a little game. Do you want to play a game, Bob?
A game?
A game.
Say. What kind of game?
Maybe buy, sell, or go to hell, my favorite game.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, we'll do that. And also, if you're out there on Periscope, leave a question below. If you're out there on YouTube Live, leave a question on YouTube Live. We'll answer your questions. We'll be right back. See you in a few. Welcome back to SSU Live. My name is Abraham DeWeese. This is Seattle Sports Union. And with me is Bob Lucky. He's the man behind the camera, and he's my technical director. Hi, Bob. How you doing?
Pretty good, Abraham. Pretty good.
We can talk a little bit about the Sounders. We're also going to play my favorite game. It's called Buy, Sell, or Go to Hell. Bob's going to ask me the name of some celebrities, and I'm going to say, I'd like to buy their jersey, or no, I wouldn't like to buy their jersey, or tell them to just go to hell, okay? Right now we're simulcasting on Periscope. Hi, Periscope viewers. And if you have questions or if you would like to interject anything about Seattle sports, please do send a message on Periscope. Or if you're on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, leave a message there. We got Bob Lucky answering calls or questions. All right, guys. I just want to talk a little bit about the Sounders. I realize it's a ancillary sport, but you know what? We don't have basketball. We don't have hockey. We're going with Sounders. I like the Sounders, so we're going to talk a little bit about them. This last Saturday, they played a game against San Jose. San Jose, you guys remember, has been our boogeyman. There's a guy named Chris Wondolowski, Wando. Wando has been like the worst. He's scored more goals against the Seattle Sounders than any other player in MLS history. It's him. It's Wando. Wando is the boogeyman. Wando, some people out there think he's mythical. They think this can't happen. He's Bigfoot, or what else, Bob? What else is mythical?
The Seattle Supersonics.
Or the whoa. Way to go, Bob. Way to bring this show to a crashing halt. I was hoping you'd say unicorns, or I was hoping you'd say something like, the Sphinx or something. You went Supersonics. Yeah, well, they don't exist. And by the way, any bar in Seattle that plays that shows the Oklahoma Thunder, and they're in Seattle, they should be like shut down. The bar commission or whoever, is there a commission for bars, Bob? They should shut them down.
Probably, but it's probably run by the city council, and they'd probably give them accommodation.
Oh boy! All right, that's a story for another day. Anyway, the Seattle Sounders hosted the San Jose Earthquakes. Again, the Earthquakes being the Sounders boogeyman. They've had our number for years. We went ahead and took them out in a 2-0 victory. Sounders are now 4-1, and even though they're still kind of down towards the bottom of the table, so are those jerks from Portland, and so are those jerks from Vancouver. Those guys are even worse than we are, and it makes me happy to watch them crash and burn. We have 2 games in hand. What that means is we have played 2 fewer games than the other teams. That is Portland and Vancouver. So a few more wins, and we're back up in that top bracket, and you're looking at playoffs. Who's come back? Well, Eric Freiberg. This guy is a Swede, and not that matters. Swedes are great people. And that's evidenced by Freiberg coming back and giving a monumental assist to Clint Dempsey. Amazing play. Freiberg brings the ball down the right side, cuts into the box, pass, boom, Dempsey knocks in the goal. This is what the Sounders have been needing for a long, long time. And Freiberg's injury earlier this year, it's no small coincidence that we sucked without him. That's right, we sucked. I'm trying to think of a little more eloquent word. Bob, is there a more eloquent word than suck?
Sucktastic.
Sucktastic. They were sucktastic. Okay. We need a thesaurus around here. Get Supersonics, then sucktastic. Anyway, Freiberg, beautiful pass. He's been what we needed, and oh my God, you guys, look at this. Look at Jordan Morris, okay? Jordan Morris scores another goal. That's his 4th goal in 4 games. 4 goals. 4 goals. What other famous 4s are there? There's the 4 Horsemen. There's the Fantastic Four. Are there any other famous 4s, Bob?
Star Wars Episode 4.
Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. You bet. All right, great. Anyway, it's his 4th goal in 4 games. Jordan Morris is on fire. This is what we've been looking for the entire year. He went through the rookie blues. Yes, I realize those first 4 or 5 games were really tough on him. But man, goal after goal after goal. Take a look at this. San Jose scored a goal, had 4 shot attempts. 3 shot attempts against Columbus, scored a goal. 2 shots on goal against Colorado, scores goal. We didn't win that game, but you don't win them all. But then Philadelphia, the one that we really needed back on April 16th, scored a goal on 3 shot attempts. Here's a guy that doesn't foul a lot of people, and he doesn't get fouled a lot. He stays on his feet, which is good. That's smart play, and that's a mark of a guy who's not trying to like flop everywhere to try to get a penalty, which I wish some other people on our team would do. Let me get back to Wando, the boogeyman, Chris Wondolowski. Boy. I really like this guy. And 35th minute of this game, I was really, oh man, I was scared, guys. I was scared. He had a shot. But Stephen Fry, the Sounders goalie, took it right off his foot. Golden opportunity. Wando didn't make anything out of it. And I was just so happy that our defense finally came through. All right, guys. One last thing I got to bring up in this game here, because our soccer editor Rich Michelson will not let me. He'd flip his stuff if I didn't bring up some of the stats. Just want to let you know, we did not dominate this game from a midfield perspective. Possession rates were about the same. Tackle rates were about the same. But one thing we really did well that we have not done in a long time is we outshot a team. We took 8 shots on goal to the Quakes only 1. What does that tell me? That tells me that Chad Marshall and Brad Evans finally stepped up their game and elevated the play of other people. They've had it within them to always do this, but for some reason earlier in the season they weren't capable of doing it. Now they are. Another interesting thing is they put Alonso out on the right side and dropped Clint Dempsey back a little bit. Interesting formation stuff. I wish they would go back to a 4-4-2, but it looks like 4-3-3 is here to stay, much to my chagrin. Richard Michelson, our soccer editor, will dispute me all day long on this, but not a fan of it. Not a fan of it. But hey, we're on a winning streak. Let's just go with that. All right. Last couple minutes here of our show. Want to talk, I want to play a game. It's called Buy, Sell, or Go to Hell. This is the Seattle Sports Union game where my technical director, Bob Lucky, is going to bring up some names of celebrities, and I'm going to tell him whether I want to buy that particular celebrity, whether I want to sell sell them. It's like buy them means I love them. Sell them means I don't like them. Or if I want to tell them to go to hell. So this is buy, sell, or go to hell. Bob, got some celebrities lined up, don't you?
I do, Abraham.
And okay, so I'm going to tell you mine, but feel free to chime in on your opinion as well. All right. And by the way, out there we're simulcasting on Periscope. I'd love you guys on Periscope to throw out some celebrities, sports celebrities. We'll chime in. We'll tell you what we think of them. All right, I'm ready, Bob.
Okay, Abraham, let's start off easy this week. Little lady in Seattle, very famous, did the 100-meter dash in just over a week. That's right, the tunnel boring machine, Big Bertha.
I was trying to figure out what the heck you're talking about. Big Bertha. Big Bertha, first of all, go to hell. Big Bertha is a boring machine. I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Big Bertha. It's a boring machine under the ground, and they're apparently going to tunnel through sand, dirt, and landfill, because that sounds like a great idea.
Don't forget hipster tight jeans.
Oh, and hipster tight jeans, yes. They're gonna, and needles as well. They're gonna dig through downtown Seattle to build a tunnel that nobody wanted and nobody voted for, but the Seattle City Council thought and the mayor thought it was a great idea. And it has almost reached, I want to say, hasn't quite got to Seneca Street yet. I think it got to Jackson Street, but they can go to hell. They should shut that whole thing down. It's a waste of time. What do you think, Bob?
She's showing promise. She started out rough, and but now she's done 335 feet in just under a week, and they're actually going to open the viaduct tomorrow.
Well, yeah, but one's not predicated on the other. The viaduct was a retrofit for weaknesses in the structure. Okay, Bob doesn't want to argue this point. I'll argue you all day on this one. Anyway, Big Bertha, bad idea. Go to hell. Big
And what
Bertha.
about the 4 times we voted for a monorail?
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on that. Anyway, well, is that the next one, Bob? Is that the monorail in the 1990s?
No, but we will stick. This is turning into a theme today. They also killed the monorail. The Seattle City Council.
Is that the next one?
That is the next one.
Oh, well, Seattle City Council, 4 of them, is it 4? 5 of them can go to hell, and I'll buy the jerseys of the other 4. The 5 who can go to hell are the ones who voted against vacating the Occidental Street section that is required to build a stadium in the part of town called the Stadium District.
Where?
The Stadium District.
What do they have there?
Stadiums, and it's a district zoned for stadiums, but they don't want to build a stadium there because there is a concern. Some of the Seattle City Council have expressed their concerns that this is going to cost jobs. This is going to cost industry work of the common man. Common man? What, longshoremen? Guys who get paid $80,000 a year to walk up and down the docks? You're talking about the guys up in the towers that do the big cranes that make $300,000 a year? Those are middle-class jobs. There's not middle-class jobs. What are you talking about? That's more than all my friends combined make in a year. Oh, anyway,
But,
yeah. So
Abraham, I
Yes.
hear that the alleyway on Occidental had significant cultural value.
it does have a lot of cultural value. It has an entrance to the strip club, and that's culture. I mean, those are working class jobs, right, Bob?
They do work for their money.
They work hard for their money. There's entrance to a pot shop, and people need their pot and their marijuana, and there's entrance to a bar. So people need their booze, strippers, and marijuana. I think I just figured out why the city council voted against it. All right, what do you think, Bob? Do you buy, sell, or tell the city council to go to hell?
Well, I think we should tell them to go to hell, but they'd probably vote it down.
Right. Do we have anything else? What's next on the list?
We got the Astros manager AJ Hinch.
Oh yeah, Astros manager AJ Hinch argued balls and strikes Saturday night and got himself promptly thrown out of the game. What's wrong? I sell AJ Hinch. What is wrong with you? Why would you argue balls and strikes? Maybe that's the lot in life of a manager. I get it. You have to go up there and go, oh, it's a. You have to act crazy, but your histrionics are pointless, worthless, and slow the game down. I don't like it. If you have a problem with it, you talk to the ump and say, hey, this is what this is. Unless you're just trying to create a scene to prove you're something special, which you're not. First of all, you're not. It's a waste of time. And a lot of people like Lou Piniella, but I thought his crying on the field and throwing bases was a waste of time and a childish act. So that's just me. But I would sell AJ Hinch. What about you, Bob?
Sorry, mute button woes. I always like a manager that, reminds me of good old Lou. I'm going to say bye.
All right. Okay, fine. You like the spectacle of it all, I guess. What do we have next on the list, Bob?
Okay, how about let's go back to the Sonics for a bit.
Oh, boy.
Yep, it's Chris Hansen.
Yeah, Chris Hansen. Open letter here to Chris Hansen. I'm sorry, man. I mean, you did everything you could your method or your memorandum of understanding, which is it's a significant document. You had every right to request the vacation of Occidental Street within the understanding of that memorandum, and the Seattle City Council stabbed you in the back. They told you that they would uphold the MOU, but they went psycho on you. I feel really bad for you, and I feel really bad for Seattle, basketball fans, sports fans. There is a lot of political wrangling that happened and got involved, and you did your best. And I know you're really toting that line. Hey guys, have faith. We'll get this one day. But I don't know. I feel like the city of Seattle, the city council, have proven that they don't think basketball or sports or any kind of entertainment is interesting or worthwhile. The Seattle City Council, several members of the Seattle City Council, are more interested in kowtowing to large companies and unions and going against their campaign promises, talking about certain city councilwoman in West Seattle. Her campaign promise was to uphold the MOU, but she didn't do it. Talking about another certain city councilwoman in Capitol Hill, said she was going to hold up the MOU, didn't. Yeah, thanks, Chris Hansen. I'll buy you a beer if I ever got to meet you. I'd buy you a beer. I just my faith, my hope is gone. I buy your jersey. How about you, Bob?
Yeah, I'm going to buy it because I think it's going to be a collector's item in Seattle soon. He's not long for this area.
All right, I think we got time for one more. Do you have a celebrity, Bob?
Well, I got a Seahawks player.
All right, who do you have?
I have Justin Britt.
Justin Britt. We were just talking about you. Justin Britt, the offensive tackle out of UCLA, drafted in the second round, brought in about 2-3 years ago. He was meant to be the right tackle for this Seattle Seahawks team. Was not capable of holding that outside. Just couldn't do it. He has the body and the build of a tackle, but they put him inside. They put him at left guard. They put him at left guard. Wasn't able to succeed there next to Russell Okung, and that scares me. Whoo, boys, that's scary. Well, now they're moving him to center. They've decided, Justin Britt, right tackle, Jamarcus Webb's going to take. Left guard, Mark Lewinsky's going to take. Your only hope is to be a center. You have no other hope. That's it. Have you not played center before, Justin Britt? Whoops. It's going to be tough to beat out Patrick Lewis. And I'm going to have to sell his jersey. I don't think there's any value in it. I don't think he's going to win the job. And I think at best he's a bench player. What about you, Bob?
Well, just based on that fine analysis, Abraham, and speaking as the technical director with very little sports knowledge, you've convinced me to buy that jersey.
Is that because all my prognition usually ends up wrong?
Yeah, that's about right.
All right. Okay. Well, we gotta cut the show down. It's 9:00, and all you guys out there on Periscope, thanks for joining us. Join us here next week at 8 p.m. All of you guys out there on YouTube, leave comments below. Let us know what you think, and check us out next week. We are Seattle Sports Union. I am Abraham Deweese. Behind the camera is Bob Lucky. We'll see you next time. Have a great night, guys.